Yo, what's good? It's Tony, and I am back for another video. This is my third time trying to make this video. I have been sick and I completely lost my voice, and it was just a total wreck trying to record this. And while I finished doing a bit of the talking head and some of the voiceover, I just was not satisfied with the audio, man. I sounded absolutely terrible. So here we are on the last iteration of pushing this video out. I have shot in downtown Tampa, the Riverwalk area, historic Ybor, and in this video I am covering the Channelside area. So let's get into it. So I spent a couple days in the Channelside area. I was able to maximize the area to the best of my ability with the time that I had. And the thing about Channelside is that it has a very modern look, and you have to definitely utilize the time of day smartly because of the way that the buildings are structured and the locations. You know, some areas are in like broad daylight and you are exposed to all the elements, and then there's some where you're a little bit in between some spots, and if you utilize the space correctly, like I will show in some of this video, you can get some pretty compelling images. So that's what I was trying to convey in this video. As far as Channelside goes, there are some different areas where you have some bit of interest, I would say. You have the Sparksman's Wharf area, Water Street, Tampa Bay Lightning Arena, where they also have concerts and things like that. And then you have the convention center. So all this area is interconnected by different means. You can take the streetcar and pretty much you can stop in any one of these locations and just jump off and explore. And then you have, you know, the runways and the walking paths, and then just a regular street, and they'll all lead you into the relatively the same locations, just a different way to get there, and just enjoying what Tampa has to offer in the Channelside area. So we're going to jump into this video and do a bit of voiceover, kind of commentating on some of these areas and the images that I was able to produce throughout several days of going out there and exploring and checking out different ways of creating compositions and the type of people that were going to be in the spaces. So let's get into that. So in this scene, what I was really focusing on is the shadows from the beams that was being created on the pavement. And what I was really looking for is for a subject to be walking in between the shadows of the pillars. So that's what I was looking for here. And right next to that area was these steps, and I really like the silhouette that it creates. So what I was doing here was waiting for someone to reach all the way to the top and have a single subject. This is another space where I really liked the look of it. I was just trying to find something a little more interesting. The colors and just the modern look, I really liked it. It really gives it like that metropolitan city vibe, and I was looking for a different way of capturing it. So what I did was went to the parking lot garage and went up the stairs, and I found this one space, and I was just wanting a subject to walk into it and do a little bit of subframing. While I did not get the subject that I wanted, I was able to get a couple images, and this is somewhere where I would probably go back to and see what kind of other images I can create. Here is another location that kind of gives a little more of modern city, and I really liked it, especially in the afternoon, because you get this like really harsh light and creates these shadows where I was able to isolate a subject. And then this one, I just really like the art on the walls of this garage, and then like the really deep shadows. I really liked it, especially when a subject walks right in front, because the way that the light hits, the subject really pops against the shadows. So as you saw, Channelside has some pretty different areas, and you'll have some different type of people based off the events that are occurring in that area at that time or day. And depending on the time of day, you're gonna get some pretty good lighting. I would say around sunset and maybe midday, I would say you get the best lighting, but that's just my personal preference on the type of lighting that I prefer, especially midday, because you get those harsh shadows, and so you get a lot of contrast when you're trying to isolate a subject and you're trying to use the light and shadows to, use that as a way of framing along with the compositions that you are able to create with subframes and things like that. And those are the type of images that I typically go for when I'm looking for more fishing technique of street photography, where I'm just sitting there and I find a composition that I like and just waiting for a subject to come into the frame, as opposed to the other way of street photography, which they call hunting, where I'm walking around and I'm just looking for interesting things happening or interesting subjects that appear in the frame and capture them in the best light and hopefully make a interesting image based off of how they're interacting with their environment, or who they're interacting with can make for very interesting images, and try to tell a story in that one single frame, which is a bit of a challenge, honestly. You definitely have to go out there and look for it. And I feel like there were some images in there where I really liked. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them below and I will get back to you as fast as possible. And until the next one, peace.